Good morning, hello, Ria from Maisie Moo here. I have been having a wee play with some ideas for a makeup bag. It's been a request from lots of you on my Facebook group to put something together, and I'm trying to come up with something really easy with easy stitch, so it's all hand stitched and using a zip. Now the zip that I have here is a 7-inch. You can buy zips in all different lengths, and you can obviously shorten them, can't lengthen them, so make sure you've got plenty room on the zip that you purchase. But what I've done is I've designed it so that you can cut the template from one piece of faux leather. So if you have a piece of faux leather that's a little bit smaller, what you can do is reduce the template slightly, and same goes as if you've got something bigger, you can increase it because it is just the one shape. So I've cut this from one sheet of faux leather today. You'll see there's got the wee holes. This is a fluffy backed faux. I've still got a few holes to pop out, but you can just pluck them out. Right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is get all of the all of those holes plucked out first. Let me do that. Okay, so first of all, before we start, what we want to do is we've taken all our little holes out. We want to shorten our zipper so that it fits in the space that we have here. So what I'm going to do is we'll zip it up, and we're going to position it. So you want to make sure that we'll flip it over. You can see you've got your zip there, and it's hanging out the end. So what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to mark my zipper so that it's there we go. So that's midway between the two, because you're going to what I'm going to do is just glue underneath here to hold it in place before we zip. And all you need to do with zipper is take your embroidery floss. Now that's what we're going to be using to sew the whole thing together. I've got a large needle today, but it has got a little bit of a pointier head because you're going to need to be able to stitch through the zipper tape. So, and all I'm going to do here is create like the zipper stopper with whip stitch, you can call it, or a straight stitch, just a few of these to hold it in place. One more. There we go. And then I just tie it off at the back. Make a wee knot and give it a trim. Now under here is where we will be doing it. So let me just trim. I'm going to trim a bit along from there. Now this is easy to cut because this is a what do we call these zips? They're like plastic ones. There is a name for them, and they call them, let's have a look, nylon coil. So it might be a little bit different if you've got the molded plastic or the metal ones, but these nylon coil ones are really good to work with. Okay, they're nice and light as well, which is what you want when you're hand stitching. So let's get stitching. The first thing I want to do is position my zip. So I need to turn my glue on. I'm going to flip it over. Let's tuck the zip in here. So we might start with this end here. We're going to glue that in place at the end once my glue is hot. Put a little bit of a dollop there between the two lines of holes. Okay, so you can see it's all lined up. That's it. And you can see the zips sitting perfectly on this end. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to actually unzip it a little bit. And then we're going to do the same here. We're going to pull this together and we're going to glue underneath. Sorry for reaching across. Put a little line of hot glue there. Now this is just going to help it stay in place for when we are stitching it. There we go. I mean, you could try this purse if you wanted to, all glued. I will give it to you without the holes. You can give it a go. So it's always a bit of an experiment, isn't it? Okie dokie. So we've got our thread. I've got my needle. Now it's got the little pointy end. It's not like the blunt one here. It's a little bit pointier. You could try the blunt one, but I want to go through the hole and then through the tape. So we're going to start inside like we do, so that our knot is hidden. So I'm going to take that through, and that I'll show you in a minute. Needs a bigger knot. Try that again. Remember, if you're unsure, you can always add that wee dot of glue there too. So I've got inside and under there, so it's hidden. And all I'm going to do now is sew up and around. Okay, so I have come to the end. Now you can choose to sew all the way around again so that it's a nice solid stitch, or you could actually choose to stop here. I think, depending on what you're going to be using this for, if you're going to be using it for something, you know, pens and pencils, or you're using often, you probably would want to go around again, but I quite like the decorative aspect of that, so I'm going to leave this, and so what I will do, I'm going to come up through like where we were before. Look, you can see my knot. That's it. And I'm going to just do like we normally do, make a loop, going to come back out through that loop and pull it tight. Okay, so we've pulled that tight, and what I'm going to do there, I'll trim that a bit better, but we might be able to tuck it under, is just add a tiny bit of glue to hold it all in place. Right, there we go. So we've attached a zip and we've hand stitched it. You can obviously do this by machine, be much quicker, and you're going to just go up and around, but there we go. So our zip's in place. Okay, on to the next stage. So I'm going to change out my needle. I'm going to go for the blunt end because it's much easier to work with when you're sewing the holes. So let's get a length of floss. We're going to fold this in half. Now something you need to remember to do is just make sure you've opened your zip up, because we'll be turning it inside out at the end. Okay, so when you fold this in half, you'll have an even number of holes all the way up and then back down the way again. So I'm going to start at the bottom, because what we'll do is we'll sew up the side and come back down, and then we're going to be squishing it together like this. You'll see how it works once we get started to go through the hole. Now because we're sewing this inside out, our knot's going to be on this side. Right, so I'm just going to work my way up and come back down. Going to wrap it around the top here and take it back through, so you've got a little loop at the top. Okay, so you've sewn all the way up and come back down. Now we're on the corner here. So what I find is probably the easiest thing to do is sew across the base as well. So I'm going to do that with another piece of thread, and I'm going to leave this hanging free. So we've gone down the side, we've gone across the bottom, and obviously we'll be needing to go down this side too, but let's just show you how to do the corner. So I'll reach through. This is why you need to have, you can see that makes like a little pinch it together. Now if you've made the, where is it? If you've made the wee primrose bag, this is exactly how we put the primrose bag together. So it's the same idea. It isn't as tapered. Okay, so you kind of want to squish it together. And we want to simply sew through the holes that are there. So I'm going to go around. You can see around the seam just to hold that tight. I've come through, and then you just want to find your way along. At the end we're going to wind it round. Okay, we just cuffed it and then stitch back through the stitch holes that you haven't stitched in. We're going to go through and over, whoops, so you can see, okay, we've cuffed that side. It's probably not the technical term for it. Go back through the holes. Now if you wanted to and you felt like it was just needing to be a little bit tighter and stronger, you could go back again if you wanted to. Let's have a look, because it's a weak point where you have, and I might do that. Simply go back over where you've already sewn. Now you don't want to pull too tight with faux leather. I don't know if you saw on the Facebook group, I think it was last week or earlier this week, someone had ripped one of their easy stitch creations, and unfortunately that can be down to the quality of your faux leather. Right, here we go. So we're back to where we started, and I've done that twice. We'll see if that makes a difference at the end. So now all you want to do is simply tie your, there we go. We want to tie a knot nice and tight, and I'll go through two. So all you're doing is passing it through a stitch, making a loop and giving it a good tug. That's it, so I've made a double knot there. Right, we've done that side. So I don't really need to show you the other side. We're going to go and quickly do that. I'm going to stitch across the base like we've done there, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so we've gone down the side and we've come back up. I've got the loose thread there. What I've done is I've tied the knot off from the bottom one, because we only need one piece of thread. So let's do a little, it's like a little fish mouth, isn't it? Little fish mouth, squeeze that. Okie dokie. So once again we want to go through. I'm going to go over and go through where the knot is, going across the seam. So just want to go to the corresponding hole. Oh, Okie dokie. So let's go back to that and we'll open. I can faintly hear my washing machine. I'll close the door. Okay, so again, just like on the other side, probably don't need to show you quite so much here. We're just going to wind around. Here we go, we've got it here. Got a little mark on that. Like I say, it was down here on its own with Isla when she was making her potato. And if you know what I'm talking about if you follow the Facebook group. So all you want to do is gently turn it in the right way. So I really, really like, so you just want to be careful, really careful, because like we do not want to rip anything by forcing it. If you've got sort of something that's got a blunt end, but I mean that's what fingers are, aren't they? Okay, so you're going to want to just quickly tuck up and under. There we go. This is starting to look really cute. Now, there we go. Well, I am extremely happy with that. I really like it. It's come together really well, all from one piece of faux leather. So I know there are loads of you that like to use directional print. This is not going to be ideal for that. Fortunately, but the idea of this is that it's just one piece so that you can have this zip closure on it with a nice smooth edge. I think, now I'm going on holiday soon and I'm going to use this for all my little vitamins and little bits and pieces that I need. So there'll be a couple of bottles in there. There we go. Oh, well, thank you for watching this far. I do hope it was nice and clear and easy to follow. Remember, reach out to me if you do need any help. Happy creating. Thanks, bye.